I'm Chris. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about doing modified and then strict bed rest with a high-risk pregnancy while having 3 little kids under 4. So, just a little background. I have a subchorionic hematoma. It's a very large one. And I also have a partial chronic placental abruption, and I've had these 2 issues going on from around 10 weeks, and it's kind of stayed stable so far, but during that time there have been a lot of downs, and finally we're getting to the point where there's some ups. I initially was told there was a 50-50 chance of baby survival around 12 weeks, and then it stayed that way for about a month, and then finally at 16 weeks the doctor thought that things were looking better, so he's thinking it's more like 20% likelihood of survival at this point. If you want to see my story, I have that in other videos, but this video is about dealing with bed rest with 3 little kids. I decided to do this video just because I know when I initially went on bed rest, I searched for videos on how the heck do you do bed rest with 3 little kids, because I am a stay-at-home mom, and I was like, how am I going to do this? We don't have family around that can help us, and we do have a good church family, but most of them have jobs. No one can just drop everything and come watch my kids for me. So yes. So initially, I'm going to talk mostly about modified bed rest because that's probably the most helpful initially. So with modified bed rest, it was doable. So like I said, my oldest is 4 and my youngest is 1. My youngest, thankfully, is actually small for her age. At the time when we were dealing with her weight problems, it did not feel like a blessing, but going through this, it has been a blessing because my weight limit while on modified bed rest was 20 pounds, and she was under 20 pounds still. I know a lot of you probably do not have that as the case with your children, because most 1-year-olds probably are at least 20 pounds, if not more. So anyway, but both of my boys are around like 35, 40 pounds, so I could not lift them at all. Alright, so what did we do? When I came home, I was told for my modified bed rest, I was also put on pelvic rest, by the way. The weight limit a lot of times is related to pelvic rest. So I was told I was supposed to basically be laying down every bit that I could be, and just try to be on my feet as little as possible. There weren't a whole lot of parameters other than, yeah, try not to be standing up or upright that much if you can help it, and don't lift anything more than 20 pounds. So initially they had said 15, and they adjusted it when they found out my daughter was 17 pounds. So anyway, what did we do? The first day we realized we had to modify a lot of things. We started by setting up our couch, where I would be staying most of the day sitting or laying down, and I got all the diapers and like underwear and basic necessities and kind of set up near my couch, and just had those available. So thankfully all my kids are big enough that they can pull themselves up onto the couch. So I was able to still change their diapers on the couch without having to lift them or get them in new clothes by them standing on the couch, getting their shoes on. They would sit next to me, and we were able to do it that way. But we also, if you are having a situation with a child that is smaller, you might want to set up on the floor, to be honest. Like put cushions on the floor. If they can't like lift themselves up so that you don't have to be picking them up, set up your diaper stuff on the floor, have your spouse set you up in the morning or whatever, or set yourself up. Just make sure it's all in the same room, and then you don't have to be getting up and lifting your child as much. So that was big. We switched to all paper and disposable products for a while with meals, so that I wouldn't have to be spending so much time cleaning up my kids, because all my kids have to be cleaned up still. Even my 4-year-old, he's not as messy, but he's still messy, and we usually have to wipe him down with a washcloth. So we tried to switch to more finger foods, things that are less messy, so that I wouldn't be spending so much time on my feet trying to clean them up or prepare their meals. We switched to a lot more crock pot or instant pot type meals, and I had to cut out cutting and like vegetables. Like we usually eat a lot of vegetables and crock pot meals usually, but I would usually be chopping a lot, and that would be a lot of standing, chopping, measuring out spices and everything. So I had to find more options that were more like dump recipes, where I used frozen pre-cut vegetables, pre-cut onions, or my husband could cut them up ahead of time. So I did that a lot, and I would use simmer sauces so I wouldn't have to be measuring spices. Yes, it was not as fancy, it wasn't as enjoyable all the time as what it used to be, but it worked, and it was working. Thankfully, our church was very helpful in the beginning, and we had a meal train going until I could figure out sort of what I was doing, because we had a wonderful community group who set that up for us. So I highly recommend, if you're a part of a church, reach out. If people are reaching out and offering to bring you meals, say yes. Until you figure things out, just make your life easier and just say yes. The other thing that we were able to get some help with from our church family was, on our care calendar, not only were there meals, but we also added slots for people to come in the afternoons and take my kids for a walk around the neighborhood, just to get out of the house, because I was a very active person before all this happened. Like, we were leaving the house almost every day for a play date, or to go to the playground, or to go for a hike on a trail. Like, we were always leaving, because my strategy for cleaning is just don't be in the house, and then you won't make a mess, and then there's nothing to clean up. So that was really how I dealt with house stuff for the most part, is I just avoided the house. And also, I'm an extrovert, and I love to be outside as well. I'm a outdoors person, so I try to foster that in my children. So all that to say, my kids are also not used to being stuck in the house. So yeah, we had slots for people to come and just take my kids for walks, or bring their kids over to play with my kids and have play dates at my house. And then I couldn't chase my kids around, but the parent of the other kids would chase my kids around if necessary. Like my 1-year-old, if she was in a bind and needed to be picked up or something, they could do it while they were here. So that was very helpful. Yeah, so that is the other thing. No more grocery shopping, really. I was still not really supposed to be traveling initially. Later, I was okay to do like short trips, so pickup would have been fine. But lifting groceries was something like you're not supposed to be bending down and doing that. So I signed up for Kroger Boost, and that was good. That helped a lot. And we just had it delivered to our house, and I would have it delivered during a time that my husband could haul in the groceries and put them away. Yeah, so those are a lot of the things that we did. We ended up buying a trampoline. I think that was a really good purchase, considering my kids were no longer getting their energy out at a playground or going on walks. So if you have space and that's something feasible for you, I highly recommend. My kids get a lot of exercise in the evenings on that thing. We have a net around it, so it's very safe for them. And they have a ball, and they get exhausted, so they sleep really good. We did have to change up our bedtime routine a lot too. Basically, my husband had to take over all the physical aspects, but I was still able to read stories to my kids, so they would come down. We used to go up to their room, but instead now they came down to the couch, and I would read with them on the couch and brush their teeth on the couch so that I wouldn't have to get up. And we still continue to do that even on strict bed rest. So that took some stuff off of my husband's plate with that, which was good. So yeah, we just had to really change things around a lot. Cleaning became my husband's stuff, so after the kids would go down, he would take 15 minutes and go around and pick up like any of the main clutter, wipe down the counters and stuff. My husband's been a rock star, that is for sure. So, but really, yeah, so if I didn't have him, I know there were people at my church that often would offer to clean. Now, we're not like super clean people, maybe we should be, but I've already gotten adjusted to having 3 kids that constantly make messes, so my house is already not like super sanitary, but yeah, so, but a lot of people have offered to clean for us, and I would say if you don't have a husband or a partner who is willing to take over those duties, then say yes. Say yes if it's going to be something that's mentally frustrating and someone offers to every once in a while come over and pick up a little bit and vacuum for you. Say yes. Yeah, so that was modified bed rest. And some of it still translates now for strict bed rest. So I've been on strict bed rest now going on almost a month, I think. Is that right? I think it's been almost a month. That was a big blow because, like I said, no family. The first words out of my doctor's mouth when I found out I needed to go on strict bed rest is, he's like, you should not be taking care of your kids. Who can come? Which of your family members does not have a job and can come and watch your kids for you? You're not allowed to do that anymore. You must be laying down or in your bed and only getting up to eat, pee, and take a shower. That's all you're allowed to do up right now. It was mainly because of my placental separation. When they realized I had that, they wanted that to stop growing. So anyway, I was like, no one can come. None of my family is available to do that. My parents have young kids still at home, and his parents are taking care of his grandma, so it wasn't going to be possible. So we realized we were going to need to get a nanny. And honestly, that was like, what? But the doctor said, if you lose this baby, you want to be able to look back and be sure that you tried everything you could to save this baby. And he said, honestly, situations where the people have done bed rest anecdotally, in your type of situation, which I don't see very often, but anecdotally, the ones that have done the bed rest and followed the rules end up having more positive outcomes than the ones that couldn't. So he was like, whatever you gotta do your best to follow this. It's gonna give your baby the best chance. So we were like, okay, we gotta do it. So what's amazing is I'm a believer, and God, I really believe, went before us on this. Luckily, on the day that he said full bed rest, strict bed rest, we were planning to leave on a trip for a week and a half. So my husband had already taken off. Strict bed rest canceled that trip for us, which was sad, but my husband was already off of work for a week and a half. So as soon as I got done with my appointment, I went straight to the couch, and my husband took over with the kids fully, basically became a single parent because now I wasn't allowed to do anything, and we had to figure out what we were doing. So I immediately started reaching out to, we are homeschooling our kids just barely since they're in preschool, but I reached out to the local homeschool groups around us and just gave a little blurb about our family. And the first day I already had heard back from a couple of people, and one was a wonderful college-age girl, and she sounded amazing. We interviewed her 2 days later. Perfect fit for our family. Just a wonderful young lady. And she already, like, she walked into the door and sat down and started playing with our kids. I was like, what? She's like, my kids already love her. And it was great. But she couldn't start right away. So we were like, oh man, well, we definitely would like to work with you. But then that same day that we realized, oh, she can't start right away, we need to find someone to fill in, I got another message from a mother in the homeschool group saying, I have a 16-year-old daughter, she has her license, but she's probably not the best fit for a full-time nanny because she can't drive other people's kids, but she'd be great for filling in. I was like, well, can she start next week? Because that's when we need somebody. And she could, so it was just like God, I didn't even have time to worry because God just started providing. And then even the finances, my husband and I were just kind of in awe. Like, we realized that our tax returns for that year and the child credits, like when we added that up, it was going to end up covering the cost of a nanny for up to 6 months, which is the most we would need at that point in my pregnancy, finishing up the first trimester. So I only had 2 trimesters left, and so the max we would need was going to be covered already, just by that money that we had already not had plans for or expected. So that was just amazing how God really went before us and provided this. And I truly believe that that God, like, reach out to Him. If you're struggling with bed rest, reach out and ask, and He can provide a way, even if it seems like it's impossible. I truly think He can make it happen. And we've had so many people reach out to us saying, like, is there a way we can contribute to a nanny fund through our church and our friends and everything? So if that's something that you need, I'd say just be humble about it. This is your baby. So yeah, these are, it's hard. Strict bed rest has been the hardest. Yeah, and there's been psychological issues, especially for me, because I already have had an ongoing battle with, like, mild depression. And for me, I usually manage it through lifestyle, like getting out and going for a walk. I'm a huge walker, and I love staying busy and doing projects and working with my hands and producing things. So when I got hit with bed rest, I immediately was like, shoot, I am going to struggle probably. So I told my doctor, I have not been on medication in a very long time, but is there any way you can write me a prescription that's safe for pregnancy? And he's like, yes, I can get you an antidepressant. So, like, I highly recommend, if you already struggle but haven't been on medication, or if you think you're going to struggle, just have them write the prescription. Honestly, I haven't even started taking it yet because thankfully I've been finding ways to feel better with my lifestyle still. I don't recommend pushing through. If you're feeling depressed, don't push through it. Like, don't try to, like, force yourself to be miserable. But I haven't been miserable so far. So I have the prescription, and I figure I'll start it if I get to that point. But honestly, I've not gotten to that point yet, which has been very surprising. But do realize, if you do start an antidepressant, it can take 2 to 4 weeks to actually see it start really working, because it takes a while to build up in your system. So just because you've taken it for a couple days and it doesn't seem to be working, don't stop. Like, if you're struggling with depression, definitely keep with it, and you will see results. I've taken this stuff in the past, and I definitely know that it eventually works. So sometimes you need a different one. So I'm not saying it'll always work, but you got to give it time. Anyway, so what have I been doing that's actually been helping me mentally? So one thing that's been hard is my husband's love language is acts of service, and also, husband-wife time. So those both have been almost completely taken off the table. Yes, I can do things for my husband in the husband-wife time thing. Only him, because I can't get anything. You're not allowed to orgasm. You're not allowed to have nipple stimulation. Nothing. Nothing at all as the woman. But like it definitely, for him, part of the enjoyment is giving as well as receiving. So it's definitely been less exciting in that department or rewarding for him. So that's been a real hardship for him. But also, I've felt bad because I know that he feels loved with acts of service, and he's having to serve 100%, and he's getting almost nothing in return. But really all I can say for a situation like that is what's helped us is just communicating. A lot of times I've cried, and I'm like, honey, I feel so bad. You're doing such a good job, and I feel awful. Like, I just feel like a piece of, like a slug, and I'm just useless. And he just hugs me and says, I still love you. I'm not mad at you. This isn't your fault, and we're going to just get through this. This is part of being an adult. This is what we signed up for. Sometimes we have hard stuff. We just got to push through, and it's going to be okay. So yeah, lots of hugs, lots of talking. We've started watching TV shows. We didn't used to do that, but we stay up a little bit after the kids go to bed and we watch TV shows. We used to play not video games. My husband plays video games. We used to play board games, so we've been talking about maybe starting that again, because that was something we really enjoyed before we had kids. So you just kind of have to get creative about how to connect when you're not able to connect in the ways you usually would. The other thing I've been doing is tapping into a lot of things that becoming a mother I kind of let go. I used to be very creative and did a lot of art and knitting and crochet. I didn't really crochet, but I'm learning to crochet now since I have all this time. So I've been knitting and crocheting. I started out with baby outfits for my own baby, and now I've run out of those projects because I don't really need that many baby items that are knit. It's really just for like newborn photos and everything. I'm making a couple cute handmade things. But I had read about how a lot of hospitals collect preemie and newborn hats and booties and things like that for the NICU units to give to parents when they have premature babies or stillborn babies. And I felt like, oh, those are a lot of little projects that are easy to do in like a day, and I can keep busy with that, but it's not like a huge Afghan or something. So I've been staying pretty busy making little hats that I plan to donate to the hospital that I'll deliver in. And yeah, that's been really enjoyable. And while I do that, I've been listening to books. Another thing that I've not done very much of since having kids. Like, I didn't knit or any of this because it required sitting still, and my kids would always be in my space. But now with a nanny, I've had time. I mean, I'm not allowed to get off the couch, so I'm just sitting there, and I'm tired of reading through my phone and scrolling social media. So I've been listening to books, and I've been knitting and crocheting and drawing again, and it feels really good. And that's actually why I haven't felt the need to start my antidepressant, because I've been creating things and feeling like I'm doing something still that matters, and that's been enjoyable. Another thing that I really liked starting up again and rediscovering has been writing. I love to write, and so I've been doing more writing, just journaling about the process of going through all this. It's been very hard. I've been praying a lot, and just having to wrestle with, if God takes this baby, like, where is my hope still? And I truly believe my hope is in God, that, He is still good, even though I might not understand. I'm going to wrestle. I know if this baby is taken, then I'm going to wrestle. It's going to be hard, and it's going to be really sad. But one thing God's been reminding me as I've been prayed for by all of my church family and friends is that He will be there on the other side, no matter what happens. If the baby survives or if he dies, I know that my God will be close to me because He's been close to me through this process. He keeps speaking to me through his word, through the people in my life that just send me notes or send me Bible verses that were laid on their heart for me that day. And it's amazing. If you don't know the Lord, if you have not trusted Christ as your Savior, I highly recommend learning about that and just asking Christ to save you, and then just giving it to God. Just talk to Him. He loves you, and this is hard, and this is a struggle, but He will be with you. If you are His child, if you have leaned on Christ and only Him, and His work on the cross, then you have the Holy Spirit in you. And God calls the Holy Spirit a comforter. And He will comfort you. And that is what I have experienced. It's been so weird. Like, seriously, I keep thinking about the circumstances. Like, I went through a month of feeling like a ticking time bomb because I was told 50-50 chance of baby survival. I could, expel this baby any day. Like, go into labor, or I guess miscarry or whatever at this point, because I'm not viable yet at viability. But, and just realizing that, like, even in the midst of that, I felt God's comfort, and I felt like He was just walking through this with me, and I didn't feel alone. I felt like He was walking with me, and I felt like when I was sad, He was sad with me. It was really, it's been palpable this whole time. And there's been a lot of stuff where I'm scared, and I'm like lashing out at Him and mad at Him. God wants to hear it all. He wants to hear all your heart. Don't be afraid to talk to Him and say exactly what's on your mind, even if it's mad or angry. I highly recommend that, because that's helped so much. And He will answer you, and He will meet you in that sorrow. He's not afraid of our feelings, and He's not going to strike you dead for saying you're mad at Him, because we're little humans. Are you mad with your children when they have a big temper tantrum? Honestly, sometimes I do get mad because I'm like, you don't make any sense. But the thing is, like, we still love them so much, and we have compassion for our children. And our love never changes. And when our children are sad about something, even if it's something that if they just understood, they would know it was actually good for them, or something, like, we're sad with them. We feel for them when they lose their favorite toy, or an animal dies, or whatever. Like, we're sad with them, and I think that's how it is with God too. So that's the biggest thing that's helped me through journaling, praying through this with God, spending time in the Word. Honestly, I haven't had a lot of focus, so it's been little devotionals that are like short. That's what I've been able to handle recently, because I can't focus. I'm on this progesterone and alpha lipoic acid, but I think the progesterone especially just makes me, like, it's on top of my already pregnancy progesterone, so I think it makes you less focused. And I have ADD, so it's like very unfocused. But God will use anything. I love the devotional Streams in the Desert by L.B. Kalman, especially the one that's edited by Riemann, last name Riemann. I like it, the updated one that's been edited, because it's more in today's language. It's a very old devotional, kind of like Morning by Morning or My Utmost for His Highest. Well known, but it's so good because it's written for people that are going through hard times, and I highly recommend it. If you're a Christian and you need like a little devotional that's gonna give you some, just what you need to hear, and I'm not saying something that's just going to put salve on it. I feel like it's just written really real and raw, and it just speaks truth when you need to hear truth. And you need to hear what is actually our hope, and what is our actual, what are we trusting in? And we're trusting in promises, like that like God promises that He will always be with us. When we go through hardship and trials, all over the Bible, He talks about that He will be with His children in those moments. Like, He does not leave us or abandon us. He will watch over us. So that's what we can hold on to, even in these uncertain times with our babies in our bellies. All right, that was long. So that's what I got on bed rest. Hopefully some of it's helpful. I just know that I didn't see very much on it. Hopefully you watch this at 2 speed. That's how I watch a lot of long YouTube videos. But no pressure to subscribe to my channel, but if you want to continue to follow my story, you are welcome to. And have a good day. Bye.